You cannot be political and have a vehicle like Martha Stewart Living, because you make one terrible mistake and make any bad comment about anybody, and off you go. You lose your followers.
Welcome to you, Martha. Good to see
Thank
you.
you. So nice to meet you here.
You met a lot of the startup magens, the people who went on to just build these massive empires like Bezos
Oh, I wish I were
and
one of
Bill
them.
Gates
I
early
do.
on in their
Oh,
career. How is that you met them early on in their
well,
career?
when I started Martha Stewart Living, Omnimedia, it was kind of a new idea. It was taking lifestyle and making a business out of lifestyle. And it attracted the attention of an investor, Kleiner Perkins. Well, they're a big VC firm out in California, in Silicon Valley, and they invested in my company, and I was very pleased because through them I learned about Google early. I learned about Amazon early. I met those guys. I met Sergey and I met Jeff, and we're still friends. We all are friends. Then I had a boyfriend who wrote Word and Excel for Bill Gates. So he's Charles Simoni. So he taught me a lot about software, and he's famous for those early giant programs. Word is probably the most used program in the universe.
So you were really on the cusp of change as you went
Yeah,
through.
and I was interested in it. I mean, you can be on the cusp and not be interested in it or not pay attention to it, but I tried to pay attention, and I tried to learn. I probably couldn't program anything yet, but I'm trying to build a program right now, which I'm really excited about.
Why?
Because I want to. It's something that we all need and want. And when I build it, you'll know about it. Hopefully it'll happen. I won't tell you what it is, but it's very interesting.
Well, hopefully you'll tell me first when you make it. It's fascinating to me because you have to be visionary to do that. How did all of that early experience with technology, how did that factor in and help you in your business?
Well, it helped a lot because our magazine, Martha Stewart Living, which was founded the first issue was 1990, the end of 1990, early 91, was done digitally. And so we created it on an Apple computer using design technology in the Apple. We used Adobe early on before other magazines. Other magazines were pasting and cutting and pasting. I don't remember if you ever saw those rooms where you would lay out and cut and paste. Well, we did it all on the computer. We started designing products on the computer. We were probably one of the first design teams making home goods to have a 3D printer. So we could mold our forks and knives and our plates and our pitchers on a 3D printer according to our design. So all of those things are, that's important to do. It's that adapting and adopting technology to your business.
When the internet came, you started to see so many of your competitors go away.
Yeah, and I thought, oh my gosh, what a fantastic thing. We have search engine optimization. I can find out anything I want with my fingertips. I don't have to go to the library. And I thought I'd save so much time. What's happened, unfortunately, and I bemoan the fact all the time, is that I think so many of us waste a lot of time online.
So how do you prevent that?
Well, I limit my time because I still have books to read, I still have books to write, I still have a business to create, I still have products to build, and so you have to really limit yourself.
I noticed that you are very prudent with technology. On Twitter, you do tweet and Instagram and everything, but you are not political. I've noticed that you
know
put a
why?
lot of thought
You want to
into.
know why?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's very simple and very straightforward. I run a magazine called Martha Stewart Living. 50% of our readers are most likely Republicans, and 50% are most likely Democrats. And many supporters of our president and many non-supporters of our president. You cannot be political and have a vehicle like Martha Stewart Living, because you make one terrible mistake and make any bad comment about anybody, and off you go. You lose your followers. So you have to. Sometimes it's painful not to be able to express myself.
Right.
But I've learned to take pictures of pretty orchids instead, and tell them about an orchid, or tell them about something else.
How many businesses are you involved in now?
Well, we have a lot of different businesses, ranging from, of course, the magazine and the publications. to our home goods that we sell through thousands of different outlets. We also have some very interesting businesses. We have the Martha Stewart Wine Company. It's a subscription wine service where you choose from a list of wines that we tell you all about, with recipe selections and pairing selections. And that's doing very well because the wines are delicious and they are also affordable. We have Martha's flowers in a beautiful box. You can order roses, again, by subscription. And that's another very interesting business. We have Martha and Marley Spoon, which is a meal kit delivery service. I love that because it not only introduces you to new kinds of foods, but you get everything you need for that meal in we call it a dish bag. It's a brown paper bag, perfect ingredients, and you cook a meal in 30 minutes or less, and you feed your family good, nutritious, delicious food. So those are just a few of the things, and then I'm on QVC doing fashion now. I love doing fashion. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of gardening products for QVC. And QVC, to me, is the third way to sell things. You sell in a store, you sell on Amazon or online, Alibaba, and you sell on television. And those are the three biggest ways to sell things nowadays.
But that's how you sell, because not everybody can do that. QVC is like high pressure, right?
Oh, it's high pressure. And it's so much, you have to sell so many thousands of dollars a minute on QVC. And but we've had some huge successes. We had a very, very wonderful launch last year. And I think we were one of the biggest launches they ever had in fashion. And so my clothing really struck a chord with the viewers. And people want to look nice. I try to encourage them to look nice from the minute they leave their house in the morning till they get home from work at night. So it's I call it practical classic clothing. And it's really fun. And we're doing handbags. We're doing shoes with aerosols now, high-style shoes with aerosol. And they're comfortable and well-made and long-lasting and affordable. Everything's affordable because I want you to save money to send your kids to college. I want you to take vacations. I want you to see the world. I want you to plant trees.
See,
I want you to have a garden. I hope so.
Right there. I mean, that's why you're good at this.
I hope so. No, but that's why.
Do you look at the metrics then after these sales are made? You probably get inside those numbers and say, hey, I could have done better here. Or,
and don't think QVC doesn't tell us where we can do better too. They have their metrics down pat, and they are constantly trying to improve the metrics. We have to follow algorithms. We have to do all kinds of stuff. It's way harder than you think. When you put a product on Amazon, it has to sell. Otherwise, it gets taken off. So it is very scientific and very, very, very thought out.
Take me back to The Apprentice. How did that happen? How did you end up on that?
Oh, The Apprentice Martha Stewart instead of The Apprentice Donald Trump. Well, Mark Burnett, who was the producer, the great Mark Burnett, he came to me and he said, we'd like you to start a season of The Apprentice. And I said, well, why? Donald's doing it. And he said, well, we might even end with you firing the Donald. He was the Donald at that time. He wasn't the president of the United States. And I thought, well, that would be so much fun. So I agreed to do it. They took over half of my office on 26th Street, and they built this gigantic set. And then Donald didn't want to be fired. He loved his job, so I never got to fire Donald. But I was very proud of what we did and proud of what Mark Burnett created with the Apprentice Martha Stewart. It showed in England, it showed various countries, and the English people loved my version. So it was, again, an education.
So you're very good at judging people.
I try very hard.
How did you figure out that Snoop would be a good person to work with?
Well, I met him on my show, and he was so much fun to work with on my own show. And he made mashed potatoes, and then he poured stuff in, and he made brownies, and he poured a little bit of this in. And he was fun.
Okay.
But what was really great was the audiences responded extremely favorably. This one needs to be peeled. See?
Like this?
Just take the peels off. Peel.
Like making French fries?
The skin.
We make French fries. That skin ain't good.
No, that's the skin. Just the skin. Look, this. You just peel the skin off.
Oh,
see?
you want me to take the skiz in off of it?
the
My bad.
skis in.
There it is,
Whatever.
the tater chip wrapping.
And then we did the Justin Bieber roast together. Somebody saw us together on that show and thought, you know, that's an odd couple. That would be an interesting show. And it's been successful, and we're going into our 3rd season.
What is the best dish Snoop has made for you?
Lobster thermidor. Can you? Snoop's hot luck dinner party. I'm going to start throwing dishes unless we get going.
Yeah. Well, let's go then.
He makes lobster thermidor. I wouldn't even think he would eat a lobster because he's very fussy. He doesn't eat a lot of things. I try to shock him with the kinds of ingredients that I would bring on. Like, he won't touch caviar, and he won't touch oysters. Oh God, slimy things. But he'll eat lobster thermidor.
What do you think he's learned from you, and what have you learned from him?
I think we've learned that very, very, very different cultures can coexist very nicely. You can teach each other things that you never thought you'd learn. You can learn about a totally different way of life. And all of that actually is pretty encouraging in this day and age with so much divisiveness. I feel very strongly that, you know, there's too much of that divisiveness, and us melding cultures is a good thing.
Tell me about the Martha Manuel. How is it differentiated from some of your more recent books?
Well, no, the Martha Manuel is a how-to book covering a wide variety of subjects relating to running a home. So it might tell you how to take care of your pet. It will also tell you how to iron, how to do your laundry, how to organize your personal papers. It tells you a lot. So a manual. It's really, if you want to look up something quick, you can find it in the book.
You probably don't have like a typical demographic, right?
Well, we have a very atypical demographic, especially now that I'm doing a program with a rapper. Yeah, it's kind of funny. That has broadened my demographic tremendously. At the right time, too, I must say. I don't think good information and inspiration goes out of date. But if I always said, I can plant a tree this way. If I find a better way to plant a tree, I'm going to find it first. And I'm going to write about it, and I'll eliminate the old and bring in the new. And I do that with everything. It's the same way with cooking. Recipes change, methods change, pots change. We didn't have an Instapot when I started writing books. Now there's Instapots. And they're very popular, and more people want to cook in an Instapot or a pressure pot, a complicated pressure pot, than they want to cook in a plain old tri-ply steel pot. So we wrote a book about how to cook in a pressure pot, and it's very popular. The recipes are utterly delicious, and we adapt our methods of teaching to technology. We have to keep up, as you say. But all the other things, just like my cars, I'm driving a Tesla now because, not that it's the best car in the whole wide world, but I don't have to go to the gas station. I am trying to be clean environmentally, so I'm driving a Tesla. It's a little bit of a hard ride on the highways. I come in from Bedford, New York every day, but I am proud that I am doing something for the environment.
And you drive yourself?
No, I have a driver.
Okay, but
I know how to drive it. I've driven it driverless. Have you?
No, not yet.
I did
You're
it.
ahead of me.
I did it. I did it on the Merritt Parkway.
Wow.
And it's a little frightening, but it works.
Yeah, mentally it just must be
Well,
really difficult.
you have to learn, and I've now invested in Convoy. Do you know what Convoy is?
No.
Convoy is the driverless long-distance trucks, transport trucks, and it's already growing in valuation. But Convoy is these giant trucks without drivers that are going to always be full, going back and forth across the United States, and they are electric. So guess what? How great would that be?
In studying you, I really see how a lot of the things you did early on were perfect for what you accomplished later in the position you were in. Modeling, we actually have a shot of you when you were modeling, and just for the sake of full disclosure, you're holding a Wall Street Journal.
I know, isn't that a funny picture? That was fun. I started modeling when I was I was around 15 or 16 years old. One of my neighbors was a model in New York City. She was also a ballerina, and she and her parents said to me one day, you're good enough to be a model, so why don't you go and meet so and so's agent? So I went to New York, and met the agent, and I was signed up right away. And that's how I made enough money to pay for my college education. And it was a lot of fun. I actually did a lot of TV commercials. I did one for Tarryton cigarettes. I had to practice smoking. Forbidden, you know. Nobody.
It was cool back then, right?
Well, to smoke a cigarette, oh my gosh. And I remember coughing. And then in the commercial, of course, all I had to do was sit there. I didn't have to smoke. And it really did pay very well. And it paid for my entire college education. And that on-camera experience, here I am in front of a camera again. And it really taught me a lot about self-composure and self-confidence and all those things. So here's my book. I would like you to have a copy.
Thank you.
Okay? And it's, this is it, How to Do Almost Everything.
This is something that I need. So I'm not like Snoop. I don't make lobster dishes. So
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's
Pleasure.
good to have you, Martha.
Thank you.